Hi everyone, welcome to CMO Chats. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Thomas McGrath. I'm the Director of Content, Digital Marketing and PR at Nexthink.
Continue our knowledge sharing mission through a series of interviews with marketing leaders from all around the world. And we are thrilled to have Thomas with us here today. What sparked your interest in marketing?
What sparked my interest in marketing was probably being what they like to call nowadays a content creator. Earlier in my year, so I was making videos and I was a writer and I was getting stuff published, and that was what gave me my first entry into the technology and content marketing space, and seeing the then relatively early potential of digital for presenting content, for generating content, and for kind of knitting together people's kind of genuine interest and curiosity about a topic with the opportunity to use that interest and use this platform and these vehicles to make connections and seed interest in an organization's message and mission.
Can you tell us more about what your company does?
Absolutely. So Nexthink is the founder and inventor of a space known as digital employee experience. It's effectively B2B software that allows IT at large organizations to better measure and manage their technology distribution and usage. The space, known as DEX for short, a lot of companies out there who quote unquote found spaces. I think what's distinct or unusual or impressive about Nexthink is the fact that that space, that DEX space, which is a term we actually coined ourselves, is now something that's really taken a hold of the industry, and many companies are fixed on this idea of experience, of user experience, of employee experience more generally, but as it applies to digital experience specifically, that is a sort of a genuine trend. And shortly, very soon this year, we're going to see the first Gartner Magic Quadrant, which is dedicated to the space of DEX, which again we coined ourselves. So we are the leader in this space, and it's a very interesting time to be a Nexthinker, shall we say?
As a director of digital of content and of digital marketing in your organization, what would currently be your main focus?
So the team that I lead, our main remit is around brand recognition. And as we see the mainstreaming of DEX, as I just mentioned, is kind of an ongoing process, a growing process over many years, but really seeming to be reaching its peak in 2024. I guess our main target or aim this year is to make sure we take full advantage of that growth in awareness and interest that this is going to create, and also I suppose acting strategically to ensure that we're not mistaken for anything other than the leader in the space, right? Obviously, the more popular something becomes, the more peers and competitors enter the fray, and we have to make sure that the recognition we're getting from the likes of Gartner and Forrester is reflected and communicated internally and externally through marketing.
Can you tell me about a particularly innovative or successful marketing campaign that you and your team have recently executed?
Sure. I mean, it's a great team to be a part of, because we have a wonderful remit from our actual CMO, who should probably be your guest rather than the non-CMO, to really be as creative and risk-taking as possible, and with that very broad remit to just create and generate awareness and interest and excitement. So the last few years, we've launched all kinds of projects, from thought leadership hubs to an industry-leading weekly podcast, full television advertisements. We work with our field team to do our global event series. We've done a Dummy's Guide to DEX, which is part of the famous book series. So you could name all sorts. I thought the one I would single out is a certification series that we launched last year across a range of kind of DEX topics. They're free to take these certifications. You get a badge at the end of them, and we've had well over 1,000 graduates, if you will, or certificates, certifications awarded to people coming on the platform and taking those certifications. We launched 2 more this year, so we've got a syllabus now of 6 different certifications. And it's a good example, I think, what I was saying is where we have to find ways of ensuring our leadership and thought leadership remains preeminent, and it's a pretty good illustration of that, I think, and it was pretty successful. So,
what would you say are your biggest challenges at the moment? Your biggest marketing challenges?
So I mentioned the significance of 2024 to the organization and the opportunity therein, and since I've already mentioned it, I'd just say so Nexthink was actually founded. Our CEO is also one of our co-founders and the main founder, in that he developed in a postgraduate course of study at the Swiss Institute for Technology in Lausanne, where Nexthink was founded. He actually developed a prototype of the technology that became Nexthink, and he was actually studying AI at that point. And we're talking here about 2003, 2004. So it's, we just had our 20th anniversary. So we have a genuine history in AI, right? And at the moment, AI is sort of such a dominant discussion point. How do you make that history count? How do you make sure that the investments and innovation we're doing around AI in this space doesn't just seem like noise, doesn't get lost in the prevalent hype and discussion? How do we make sure that our very authentic roots in this technology and future in this technology is conspicuous to our potential customer base and existing customer base?
In your opinion, what does the future of marketing look like to you?
It's a fascinating question, and what does you could be facetious and say, what does the future of anything look like to any of us right now? It's so hard to guess and anticipate. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents, which could prove as wrong as anybody's prediction right now could prove. But I think that, particularly around kind of content marketing and brand marketing more generally, the ability to create content and increasingly sophisticated content using AI is going to create a deluge of content. It's going to an overwhelming amount of content is going to be produced using these tools, which are becoming increasingly available. And maybe paradoxically, what I think that means is that human creativity, discernment, taste, and instinct, in marketing, the people who are deploying these technologies and releasing the content and designing it, is not going to become less important, but more important, because it's going to become harder and harder to make content that's noticeable, that people don't just want to turn off. And I don't think, certainly not at present, AI is capable of providing that kind of nuance and sophistication. Therefore, I think the kind of creative professionals who will be utilizing it and who are hired by companies still to utilize it and to distribute it, their sensibility is going to become more, not less important.
What is the role of a director of digital content and digital marketing in one word, and why?
The one word would be facilitator. We have a really sort of talented and heterodox team. We have videographers, digital specialists, content strategists, customer marketing experts, PR experts, writers, and there's I see my role as knitting together all of those different talents, not only with one another and with the wider team strategy, but with other departments and other colleagues, right? We have a pretty clear remit to produce our own work, but it's also absolutely essential, in my view, that we are able to support with all of these different talents, all of the different needs which the rest of the company could and do require, week to week.
What career advice would you like to share with other marketing leaders?
I think my career advice would be to take risks. I think that unless the real winning projects and the really rewarding projects are those that make you feel stressed and nervous as you're planning and executing and launching them. Like it's those points where you're doing the right thing, in my view. Like, you should be out of your comfort zone, you should be taking risks, you should be doing things that people your colleagues and of course your target base notices, and that requires doing anything other than what you did yesterday. So make yourself nervous would be my advice.